Goal, I'd say financial goal. Like I want to hit the 100K months, 150, and then go from there. More of like a mission statement with the business. I just want to have a huge impact on everyone who works with me. So people come in to get their dream outcome. So yeah, financial and then impact.
One of our clients hit 65K last month, our best month to date. Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm with Quinton today. We've been working together for I think over a year and a half now. Quinton's my YouTube guy. I've been his LinkedIn guy for a while, but he's he wants to start scaling up to bigger months now. So to everyone who doesn't know Quinton, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so I run a done-for-you YouTube agency. Essentially, we just do all of the packaging, so thumbnails, titles, editing, uploading, scripting, YouTube videos for my clients. So all they have to do is send us the raw footage. We do the rest, and the end result of that is they get a way better sales process. They don't have to worry about their YouTube content, and they get more inbound leads from working with us.
Nice. So you're basically running like a YouTube agency for, I'd say, coaches, consultants, agency owners, right?
Specifically in the B2B space, though. We don't really work with anyone B2C.
Cool. Okay. What's your goal with the business right now?
The goal, I'd say financial goal. Like I want to hit the 100K months, 100, 150, and then go from there. And then more of like a mission statement with the business. I just want to have a huge impact on everyone who works with me. So people come in to get their dream outcome. So yeah, financial and then impact.
Nice. Both are important. What's your short-term goal, say over the next 3 to 6 months?
Oh man, if I don't hit 50K a month, in the next 3-ish months, I think I might jump off a bridge.
So tell me your acquisition channels at the minute. Like, where are you actually getting your clients from?
Yeah, so I would say YouTube plays a big part in that. That's what I'm known for. And then the two other ones I'm frequently on is LinkedIn, obviously, and Twitter. So, we'll focus on YouTube, and then I will post on Twitter, post on LinkedIn, and then sporadically, get leads from both.
And I know, just from knowing you as well, you get quite a lot of referrals as well, right?
Yeah, lately we've been eating off referrals, which I know isn't the best because it's not predictable, but that's how we've been scaling recently.
So YouTube, LinkedIn, X referrals. Okay, let's break down how many calls a month you're getting then. Let me share my screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at as well. How many leads you generate a month on average at the minute? When I say leads, I'm talking about qualified followers on LinkedIn. YouTube, we're going to leave because obviously you're already expert at that. X, we will leave because that's not my expertise. Referrals, we can jump into again later, but LinkedIn is obviously the main thing I can help you with. How many qualified followers are you getting through LinkedIn a month at the minute?
It's below 15 for sure.
If less than 15 qualified followers a month.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of overseas people, and then editors and thumbnail designers. I wouldn't call them qualified, but in terms of the actual qualified people I think I could work with, yeah, not many at all.
So as a result, how many conversations do you start in a month in the DMs?
Okay, I just want to preface this by saying this is going to be shit, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Conversation started. I'm really I've dropped the ball heavily on outbound. Big reason for that is because obviously as my business scaled, I wanted to focus a lot on fulfillment. I've done some things in terms of hiring new members on the team so I can kind of take a step back, but I've fucked off all outbound.
So zero.
Yeah. One or two here and there. I'll see someone post something about YouTube. Maybe I'll send them a post, but it's a handful. It's not something I'm doing daily.
Okay. We're going to put zero. How many book calls you get in a month through LinkedIn, whether it's inbound or the occasional outbound?
So inbound wise, we signed 3 new clients this month. Those all came inbound, partly referral based, 2 specifically LinkedIn inbound. But I do believe they know who you are, which they've seen the work I've done for you, and that's the reason they reached out. And then another one was book call from a referral.
So how many would you say you book in a month on average through LinkedIn over the last 3 months?
The last 3 months, let's call it 10.
10 a month. Okay. How many are showing up? What's your shot rate like?
Oh no, it's not 10 a month. I thought you were saying over the course of...
We'll go with 3 then. 3 a month.
Okay. All right.
Let's say you're booking 3 calls a month through LinkedIn. How many are showing up? This is not good, by the way. We're going to...
Yeah, no, it's awful. But I will say of the calls that are booking in, they're super warm, very hot. I have almost probably 100% close rate with these calls that are coming in that are closing in the DMs type of people because they're coming to me looking directly for the service.
Okay, so would you say 3 calls that showed up, 3 calls that closed them?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and then out of let's say you close 3 clients, what's your average cash collected on that?
3 clients, average is $8K
each or together?
Together, depending on what type of package they close on. Some just want to edit thumbnails, some want the full deal, so it's called $8K.
So then let's break down your actual LinkedIn, right? You've got 4,061 followers. How many impressions you get in a month, or over the last 30 days, how many have you got on LinkedIn?
It's a bit skewed right now because of I messaged you not too long ago. I said I did like a boosted post. I think you messaged me about that. So right now the impressions are like 8K, but previous to that boost, it was about like 1,500,
A week or a month?
maybe a month. Let me pull up.
Whatever you'll see on your profile will be the last 7 days.
Okay, last 7 days, yeah, it's about like 1,200 to 1,500.
So about 6K a month.
Yeah,
And then profile views a month?
I got 360 right now for the last 7 days. And I will say though, like when we first started working together and these numbers were like, I was all fully dialed in on LinkedIn. Obviously, the numbers were a lot higher. I will say the amount of quality people I was talking to were probably a little bit less. But ever since I scaled the biz, I really I fucked off bad. But I know there's so much more that I can do with my LinkedIn page that I'm just not taking advantage of. So I'm fully aware.
I think right now, your biggest bottleneck, if I'm looking at it like straight up, is just the fact that you're only generating 15 qualified followers a month. Have you got Dripify list set up as well?
No, I canceled all that shit.
So bottleneck number one is going to be not enough qualified lead flow. We'll jump into that in a minute on how to actually fix it. Bottleneck number two is you're just not doing enough outreach, but I think that's also coming from the fact that you're not getting enough leads. Let's look at your pre-call process as well. You mentioned right now that like calls that are showing up are closing 100%, which is great. What are you doing between when someone actually books a call and when the call actually starts?
Yeah. So if it's someone who's probably like a referral books in, they book in for a couple of days out, I do have a Calendly workflow where they'll get an automated email as soon as they book, probably like a day or two before the call, and then a couple hours before the call, then as the call is about to start. And those emails just consist of case studies, telling them what to expect on the call, of that nature.
Do they get a confirmation page like when they book in or anything like that? So literally just kind of work for answer here. No. Based on the ones that you do get, like, let's talk about back in the past when you was actually doing outreach, because I know you like actually used to stay consistent with it. Back in the past, like, how sold would you say the prospects were when they showed up to call? Like, before, let's say 3 months ago when you're consistent with LinkedIn.
I would say like pretty much, because a big issue I think why I stopped too is I was starting to talk to people who I don't think were a good fit for me. And I think financially, they weren't the type of people that could afford a high ticket service month after month. And maybe that's just skill issue on my part, or I'm just projecting, but they weren't sold really at all. You know, they kind of saw I had some results. I mean, I have more results now than I did 3 months ago, but they kind of saw I had some results. They kind of knew YouTube was like important, but as soon as I hit them with that price, I mean, 3 months ago, a lot lower than what it is right now, they were still hitting me with financial objections or just now isn't the right time. They got a bunch of stuff going on.
Okay, so what would you score them out of 10?
Majority probably like 3, 4 out of 10.
So 3.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said that's why you kind of stopped. You got fed up talking to these people, right?
Yeah, that's why I was just kind of like, fuck this. And then I just got lucky, I would say, with getting good results for current clients that they kind of just started funneling people my way and was able to scale that way.
So goal in 6 months is 50K a month. How much you at a minute? You're around 20K a month, right?
Yeah, max revenue was 30K, but I only hit that one time. Then it's been fluctuating around like 20.
Okay. What's your average cash collected per like client when you sign them up?
Yeah, now it's 6K, but I am like raising prices very soon, which that should bump up to 8K.
Okay, so 6K average. So you need to be signing maybe like another 5 clients a month.
Yeah.
Okay. I think your bottlenecks are pretty clear, which is good, right? Like, it's not like there's some mad, crazy thing going on here. 1, not enough qualified lead flow, such as dream followers coming in. 2, you're obviously not doing enough outreach because you haven't got the lead flow. And 3, what we need to fix is that when we do have the lead flow and the sales being booked, we need to make sure the ones who are showing up to the calls, rather than a 3.5 out of 10 sold, an 8 to a 10 out of 10, and kind of like disqualifying the people who aren't ready to buy. So these are the 3 things that we'll work on. So let's solve like bottleneck number 1 first. I think like if I'm just guessing, your problem's going to be your top of funnel content isn't aimed at the right people. So there's 2 types of people that we want to be targeting, right? Like you have 1, which is your dream follower, and then you have 2, which is your ICP. What a lot of people try to do is they just try to target their ICP, right? But this is a mistake, because when you just try and target your ICP, what you're going to do is you're going to probably struggle to get a lot of people in, because your ICP is a very specific person, a very specific window at that very specific time. And therefore you're going to struggle to trickle people down into the middle funnel, bottom funnel, the DMs, etc. What you want to be doing is, let me quickly write this out as like targeting just ICP. What you want to be doing is instead targeting your dream follower. Okay, so your ICP lives inside of the dream follower audience. Now, your dream follower would be, I mean, tell me about your ICP first. someone who like pays you on the call, they pay for 3 months up front, they get amazing results. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I would say definitely someone in the B2B niche. So they're selling to other businesses. They already have a proven offer, like sales process dialed. They know exactly who they're targeting and they have case studies to back it up. Obviously, they're doing 30K or more a month so that they're able to see my pricing and just say, oh, yeah, no problem. It's a good deal. And they pay it on the call. Proven offer, sales process dialed, case studies to back it up, 30K or more, pays on the call. Yeah. And like the type of clients that trust the process too. You know, they're not messaging me over every line in the script. And they kind of they trust that we know what we're doing and just execute and they let the results speak for itself.
So then your dream follower, right? Like imagine you just try and target this ICP. There's probably not tons and tons of people who are at 30K a month, who have a load of case studies to back it up, have the sales process dialed right now, already have a proven offer, etc. But there's going to be a ton of people who are in the B2B niche. There may be a coach, consultant, agency owner, etc. But maybe they're at 5 to 20K a month.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got just 1 to 2 case studies. At the same time, your dream follower can also be someone at 30K a month with a ton of case studies, right? The thing is, your dream follower is basically a broader version of your ICP because your ICP lives within inside of this audience, right? And your job in your top of funnel content should be to attract as many of those people as possible. Because if I just try and target my ICP in my top of funnel content and I only try and speak to posts, people who are doing 30K a month, chances of me reaching more than 1,000 people are very, very low. Whereas if I write a dream follower post and talk about problems that general coaches, consultants, and agency owners have, I'm probably going to reach maybe something more like 20 to 30,000 people, which means I'll reach a lot more ICPs just naturally, right? Let's say 1,000 of them are ICPs. But at the same time, I'll also attract a ton of dream followers, such as people making maybe 5K a month. And in 6 months' time, those 5K a monthers might become someone who's earning 30K a month with a ton of case studies, and now they're ready to become a client.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we look at your content, I imagine the reason that you're getting such a low reach is because your content is talking to too much of a specific ICP, right? Like this is a bottom of funnel post. This is a bottom funnel or / middle of funnel post, right? You're talking to people doing 40K a month, 65K a month, runs an accounting firm 7 years on YouTube, right? Like all of this content and even like hiring a VA, all of this content is not aimed at people who would be your dream follower, right? Your ICP aren't even doing YouTube yet, are they?
If they are, they're not doing it well.
And so like, they're probably not even thinking about scripting, recording, editing. Your content at the minute is literally just talking to your ICP. And that's why your reach is so low. And that's why you're struggling to bring in so many qualified followers. And that's why this is your bottleneck. So like what we want to do is let's create like a really good top of funnel content strategy for you. I think like if we can fix that, your top of funnel content, the main job of it should be attract your dream follower. So let's write down, tell me when you onboard a client, do you have questions in your onboarding form about like where they first found you, what post made them buy from you, what they specifically liked about you and your service, etc.?
No.
Okay. First things first, like action 1 after this call is I want you to add those questions to your onboarding form. I'll send you the question you need to add, but basically we want to figure out like where are we first attracting these people, what posts are actually getting them intrigued and what posts are actually getting them to convert and why are they buying from you then and there, right? So that we can then figure out what are your ICP consuming so we can attract more of them people.
So I will say like a lot of the inbounds that come is always after I'm posting something about results, whether it's results from you, the results I just got. And like on the other platform, Twitter too, I'm posting like things clients are sending me, results we're getting. Those are all like every time I post something like that, I'm getting a ton of engagement or DMs of someone who's interested. Everything else I post, it's like nobody like, you know, could give a shit about that. That's where I've seen the results.
Here's what we're doing instead then. Because we don't have this data, let me quickly get up this instead. So there's 4 stages to building a personal brand that people buy from, right? And so far, you've kind of skipped straight to steps 3 and 4, right? You skipped to being credible and being trustable. The steps that you've skipped though, which is more the top of funnel content, is you're not admirable or likable through your content yet, okay? You've already got these steps covered. Like you're doing a great job of these. What we're missing in your content and the reason that you're struggling to get people to trust you and start following you is that people don't really know who Quinton is, okay? Tell me like some things about you, why people might admire you, like what makes you different. So my examples of why people would maybe admire me is I'm 21, I make 30 to 50K a month through my solo consulting business. It's 85% plus profit margins. I get to travel a lot, right? That's like my one-of-one personal brand. It's very difficult to replicate that, right? There's not many other 21-year-olds doing that.
Yeah.
What would you say is the reason that people buy from you specifically, and the reason that people admire you?
I would say, so my journey that I'm on right now with scaling my business, I think I'm 29 years old. So I did the whole 9 to 5. I did the entire college experience, and I just realized I would never get my dream life going down that path. So I just pretty much burned all the boats, quit my 9 to 5, and went all in on my business. And there was a stretch of time where I wasn't successful. I had no momentum, but I stayed in the game. I kept working, and now my business is scaling. Now I'm hitting numbers in my business that's like 3x what I would make at my 9 to 5 job. So I think that's something people would admire for sure.
Like, what else would they maybe be able to resonate with as well? Like, do you have any kind of world views or views in general, values that you actually scrap that? Tell me like about your actual business itself. What might people admire about your business?
So a mission statement we have at my business, and I was just saying this earlier to my team, is that we really want to emphasize impact over income. So yeah, I want to make a lot of money, but I really want to focus on the impact we're having on our clients, making sure their experience is dialed in, and that when you work with me, you feel like your YouTube channel, your acquisition system is a priority and it's being handled with care. I think, when you go to pay someone a lot of money, you want to make sure that they care about your experience, that your own results, and it's not just another screenshot to post of me scaling. We really care about the impact over the income.
Already, we've found 4 things that you can talk about that people would admire you for, right? Like I don't think I've ever see you write a post about this, and like already you can just see from the engagement, it got more engagement than all of the other client posts. And if we're looking at the IC, like the people who are engaging, a lot of them seem to be pretty ICP, which is good, right?
Yeah.
And I'd imagine as well, like there's a lot of people who aren't even engaging, who are maybe just following you off the back of it, that you're not even realizing. So that's number one, right? We've got being admirable, right? What about being likable? What do people like about you in real life? Your friends, your family, etc. What do they like about you that maybe you don't show well enough in your content?
Very loyal guy, very down to earth. I don't have a massive ego. Really prioritize health. I like being in the gym, being fit, and like I'm not super guru. Wake up at 4 a.m. and hustle hard. Like I'm down to go out, grab a drink, watch like a sports game with my friends. Very normal activities. I don't make my business my entire personality.
How many times have you spoke about all of this?
Never.
But like, imagine that we write a post about not making your business the entire personality. Yes, you're going to attract maybe a load of people in the wrong industries, maybe some construction founders, but because your post is going to be such a wider cast net, you're probably going to attract 500 to 1,000 ICPs who then see that post and follow you off the back of it. And then you'll also attract a couple of dream followers, such as people who could eventually turn into ICPs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when you just try and write to your ICP, like people making 30K a month, there's very few of them, or very few are going to resonate in that moment. Whereas when you cast the net wider, you're going to reach a lot more people, which you're going to tell the algorithm, show this post to more and more and more people. And as a result, you'll actually reach more ICPs than if you just try to write a post just to your ICP. Okay. Yeah. So like what I would start doing is leaning more into being admirable and being likable. Right now, you don't really have a huge audience, right? You have 4,062 people, which is fine if they were all dream followers, but they're not, and they're not ICPs either. So right now you have a top of funnel content problem. So I'd literally lean probably 70% or maybe like 60% of your content towards top of funnel, and then 20% should be middle of funnel, 20% bottom of funnel. Over the next 6 weeks, I want to be posting daily content with a split of 60% top funnel, 20% middle, 20% bottom. I'd like you to start tracking how many dream followers you get per week. And I bet you that number goes up when you start talking about this stuff here, right? So start talking about being admirable, being likable, casting it net a little bit wider. Yes, you'll attract a few unqualified people, but you'll also attract more qualified people than you ever have. So we want to start doing this. Right now, you're already doing the credible and trustable bit great, but the problem is no one likes you or admires you through your content yet, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to skip to steps 3 and 4 before you end on step 1 and 2. So find more ways to show this in your content. Like you could do a post like, I make 30K a month, but I still hang around with people that would be considered in normal jobs, right? You could write a post about how you don't believe that you should make business your entire personality. You could talk about being down to earth. You could talk about your mission statement more. You could talk about your difficulty, because there's going to be a lot of businessmen who resonate with that, right? I would just start talking more about that. Like, I'll show you an example of me doing top of funnel content, because it might help if we see a real life example. So this post here is a perfect example of me doing a top of funnel post aimed at my dream followers. An easy way to make business 10 times harder, feeling shit about bad months, right? Yes, this probably attracted a lot of unqualified people who are maybe in the wrong industries that I can help with. But it reached a lot of people, like 4,000 people, which means a lot of them can start following me, and some of them will be ICPs. This post here, talking about like my average day at 10K a month and my average day at 30 to 50K a month, 13,400 impressions. A lot of them will be unqualified, but I'll also reach a lot more qualified people as a result. As you can see, like 68% of those were out of network. So new people that have never seen me before. And I'm talking about like a pretty broad topic within business, but I'd guarantee that a lot of them are going to start becoming ICPs, or, you know, they are dream followers. Okay. So the first thing that I would say to you, you need to start doing more admirable and likable content. Start leaving more top of funnel content. Okay.
You said that's daily, right? So 7 days a week.
7 days a week, 60% should be top of funnel.
Okay. Yeah, I think a big part of like why I wasn't posting is because, like you said, most of my content is bottom of funnel, and then some days I just like couldn't be fucked with knowing what to post about. But I'm missing the personal part of the personal brand. So dial in that.
Exactly, you're missing the personal part of the personal brand, which is also going to fall into like why one of your bottlenecks is that you're taking too many calls who aren't a good fit. It's very often that they're not a good fit, or probably be that they don't trust you as well. Some of them may have been non-ICP, but I'd also imagine that if they trusted you more, they would have been more likely to pay you. Okay.
Yeah.
The fix here, post more admirable plus likable content. 60% of your content going forward should be top of funnel. Now let's move on to not doing outreach. Straight up, like blunt. Why have you not been doing it?
Yeah. Well, 50% of the reason is I've just been busy. Like I've really been handling all client fulfillment on my own. Like I have a team of editors, thumbnail designers, but all the ideation, scripting, strategy, that's been on me. And as I've been getting new clients, a lot of them have been a little bit more demanding. But what I did was I hired an assistant that's going to help, you know, with delivering some of these client assets to the clients so I can remove myself. The other 50% is, you know, when I'm done working, I just can't be fucked. And I know that's like such a shit excuse because I want to make more money. But then like I look at LinkedIn, I look at the people I could potentially DM, and I'm like, I just can't be fucked.
Your problem is like businesses today, and you should know this more than anyone because you're the YouTube guy. The businesses that you should be building is essentially a media business with a business on the back end. So like you want to remove yourself from every single low leverage task that isn't content. Like think about Alex Hormozi. If you look at his days, I'd say at least 60 to 70% of his days that he spends on his actual like info product business is all on content or speaking to his content team, because that's the highest leverage task that he can do. It's not sending outreach himself. That's so low leverage for him. It's not taking sales calls. That's low leverage. If he can just film a video that gets seen by millions of people, now he's building trust with those millions of people and getting more and more followers to come in, who the setters then DM, who the closers then close, who the delivery people then deliver to. So you want to essentially remove yourself out of every single thing other than content. So like the fix here is super fucking simple. Obviously, number one, which you'll already work on by the sounds of things, remove yourself from delivery. But at the same time, like just hire a setter. Like you're at 20K a month. Why have you not hired a setter yet?
So the last setter I hired, I didn't like the way he was DMing people. And again, that's completely skill issue on my part because I didn't do a good enough job training him properly on like the type of guy I am. But yeah, he was not sending DMs that I really liked, honestly.
So like, look, when we onboard a setup like into my own business, or when I help my clients onboard a setup, we create four lots of SOPs for the setup. Number one is the prospecting, right? So we give them a whole document, who our ICP is, how to find the prospects, how to re-engage the prospects, so they know who to look for. We give them SOPs on how to start the conversations. We give them SOPs on how to manage the conversations, how to handle objections, like the response time, the tone of voice, etc., right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a wild guess out there. You didn't have any SOPs for the appointment setup.
I just gave him my account and said, go after it. Yeah, I didn't have shit.
So
yeah.
You can't hold an appointment setter accountable for not doing the job properly. They haven't been getting. I always say this, right? If an employee isn't doing the right thing, the first thing I ask myself is, have I told them to do it? If they say yes, I go, okay, cool. Have I given them assistance to do it? If they say no, then I'm like, okay, it's my fault.
Yeah.
You didn't give them assistance. You can't really blame them. So yeah, what I would do, SOP everything about your ICP and outreach, etc., and hire an appointment setter. Train them for 30 days. Like stay super close to them. 2 calls a week, daily check-ins, end of week reports, end of day report, everything. Track them for 30 days, see what their like performance is like. I bet you any money that they come in absolutely smash it. We open up the wins channel, right? Ritvit, yesterday at 5 p.m. Finally hired a setter and spent a full week training daily. Been a long time coming since my DM process so dialed in. His first day on the account, not rebooking calls. It feels great to have so much time back. And then I'll show you one-to-one DMs he sent me. Set up booking me calls first day, and then he goes, feels like a different business. Went from trying to find time outside outreach to finding what work to do. And he literally SOP'd everything I just showed you. That I gave him all my SOPs and said, go and model them for your own business. He onboarded them, booking calls from day one, because this has no excuse to not perform, because everything was there, right? So number one, we need to fix your top funnel content so that you're getting qualified lead flow in by building the personal side of the personal brand. Number two, we need to hire you a setter by first SOP and everything and actually hiring them and then hold them accountable. You can pay them like $500 a month base and then 5% comms on clients you sign. And also because you're on a monthly retainer, like it's really incentivizing for them because it's more recurring. And then number three, you're talking to too many people who aren't a good fit, right? I'm going to imagine this comes down to two things. One is your middle of funnel / bottom of funnel content about client behaviors. I'll get into that in a minute. But two is going to be your pre-call process. Okay. Now, like one thing I noticed when I went through your middle of funnel content a minute ago is let's pull up this. Okay. One of our clients hit 65K last month, my best month to date. Within 2 months, Prosper Stop Showing Up Call, they already binged the content, already believed in the process, right? If you talk about how quickly, and this is one thing I've had to stop doing, by the way. Sometimes I'm actually lying about my client results, about how long it takes. Sometimes I'm actually extending them. I'm saying that it takes longer to get the client result. Because if I say that it takes 2 weeks for someone to go from 10K to 20K a month, people could be going up to my sales calls expecting they're going to get the same results. And sometimes that's just not realistic, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes if a client gets an insane result, I'll literally extend it by like a month and say it took them 6 weeks instead of 2, because I don't want to attract people who are going to just come for quick wins and a silver bullet. Like here, you're saying within 2 months, you're going to get Prosper Stop Showing Up Call. They're going to binge your content and you're going to raise your prices within 2 months. Of course, people are going to show up expecting to be super easy and then not pay the price when you tell them it's 6K.
Yeah.
Because they got the wrong expectation. They're expecting to show up thinking this is easy. So what I would start doing, right? I would, first off, in your bottom funnel content, I'd start weaving in client behaviors. I'm going to jump into middle funnel content in a minute because I think that's going to be the biggest play. Middle funnel content, your pre-call process would be your biggest play. For bottom funnel content, the only thing that I would say is start weaving in some client behaviors. So be like, she went from 10 to 30K months to 65K. But the reason she did this is because she showed up to the sales call and paid me on the call, which showed that she was super committed. She then listened to everything I said and trusted the process. She gave me the thumbnail and videos on time every single time. Like literally list out the client behaviors that you want to see more of that she had. And as a result, you'll start attracting people who go, okay, cool, I need to show up and like pay on the sales call because that's clearly going to mean that I'm more committed. You actually want to kind of hypnotize them into thinking like, right, this is the kind of behavior I need to do to get great results with Quinta. And you're not lying either. Like I bet money that she paid you on the sales call, but she was then committed to the whole process. Start talking about those client behaviors in your bottom funnel content. What I'm also going to say is your content seems to be either very top of funnel and like it's either too broad or it doesn't resonate with Dreamfollower at all, or you're just doing bottom funnel content. Your biggest gap in your content is obviously after top of funnel. Your second biggest gap in your content is middle of funnel. So remember I said to you, I want 20% of your content going forward to still be middle of funnel. Yeah. This is what you need to dial in. So with your middle of funnel content, what you want to be doing is answering. Middle of funnel content is basically the bridge between someone knowing who Quinton is and knowing what Quinton's service looks like and wanting to work with him. Bottom of funnel is just what gets them to take the action, right? But your middle of funnel content should be answering every single question, limiting belief, objection that your prospects might have that's either stopping them from booking a sales call or it's stopping them from buying. So give me some like objections you're getting on sales calls or was getting on sales calls from LinkedIn before.
Main one was financial. Another objection was equipment and setup. People saying they don't want to start content right now because, they don't like where they're recording at or they don't have a good setup.
Have you ever made a post talking about like how you don't need good equipment or a good setup to create YouTube content that converts?
It's been a while. Since I made a post about that.
So then you need to create more content that weaves in the idea that you don't need amazing equipment. You could create a bottom funnel post and say, this person made 40K a month with me. They film with their iPhone camera. Yeah. Like you can weave in these beliefs as well. So again, let me give you an example because it's just easier if I show you my middle funnel content rather than like trying to pick an idea out of thin air. One objection that I kept getting, one like question / doubt that people might have is like, what does the first 7 to 30 days of actually working with Charlie look like? Like, how do I know he's actually the real deal? So what I did was I screenshotted Jimmy messaging me the other day saying, wow, I absolutely love what working with you look like. The fact that you were helping me build a business that actually aligned with what I want to build rather than force me down a path. And I wrote a post about it. And yesterday I got a guy message me saying, hey, Charlie, I'm ready to get started. Send me the Stripe link. He paid in the DMs. Now, I don't know what's to do with this post, but I like specifically this post, but I'd imagine it was. I imagine he was scared of like working me, had some doubts about whether I was the real deal, saw that a guy called Jimmy, who I've actually tagged, was messaging me and saying how great I was. As a result, he's then come in, right? So there's probably a load of questions and limiting beliefs and objections that you're not answering in your content that you could be. Another middle of funnel content post. One limiting belief that stops people from buying from me is that they think they already know content. They think they already know DMs. They think they already know sales calls because they went on some shitty $200 course. But then I made a post about Rickbit going from 10K to 30K a month and literally saying to me, I didn't know what I didn't know. That's why I invested. And I'm basically saying people who think they know DMs and content clearly don't, because otherwise they still wouldn't be stuck at 5 to 10K a month. They'd be at 30 to 50 as well. And so I'm literally directly handling these questions, objections, limiting beliefs in my content. I'm showing what my process looks like. I'll show you another great example and then we'll move on to your stuff and like show you some real life examples. But some people might question, what does the onboarding process look like? Okay, well, what's going to happen in the first 10 days? And so I literally made a video showing how I do a cash sprint with all my clients. And within the first 10 days, we get them to do the cash sprint, which makes it anywhere from 10 to 20K on average, answering a question of limiting belief that might stop people from either booking or buying from it. So what I want you to do is list out all of the limiting beliefs, the questions and objections that either you hear in the DMs or in sales calls, or maybe that you just think in general that are stopping people from booking with you, and start answering them in your content, in your middle of funnel content, and start weaving in those client behaviors into your bottom funnel as well. Your middle of funnel should get people from wondering, what does working with Quinton look like, to knowing exactly what working with you is going to look like, from the point of onboarding to the results they're going to get, to how they're going to get there, to the equipment they need, so that the only question they then have on the call is, do I like Quinton or not? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And then this moves you onto the pre-call process. Like, I think you've got a massive gap here as well. Yes, you're getting the emails out, and that might be increasing your show rate, but so every time someone books in a call with me, they land on a page, or this page here, right? It says, your call is booked, here's what to do before we speak. There's then a video which confirms and says, great, looking forward to having a call with you. Here's what you need to do. It tells them to confirm the call, scroll down and look at these FAQ videos, scroll down and watch the case studies, right? So by the time they've now watched this page as well, they already have got, like, I basically compile all the commonly asked questions I get on my sales calls, and I create an FAQ video to answer each one. So by the time they come onto a call, they have seen all their frequently asked questions answered. They've seen a ton of case studies and, you know, a load of client results, etc. What more objections or questions do they have? Because all of my YouTube videos also show what my process looks like. The only objection they can have is, do I like Charlie or not? So what I would do is I would create a confirmation page, and also, like, you're a YouTube fucking expert. Yeah. Send the YouTube video that you think is specific to their situation before the call. So if they have a problem with, like, setup, send them your YouTube video on how to create a killer setup. If they have a problem with trusting you, send them some case studies. If they have a problem on what does your process look like and how is it different to others, send them your unique mechanism video. That is what I would be doing in terms of the pre-call process. Your number one bottleneck right now is lead flow, or qualified lead flow especially. So I'd be dialing in your top funnel content first, like post more of the admirable and likable stuff, not doing enough outreach, just hire a setup. And like SOP everything, hire a setup, get it out of the way. That can be done within the next 7 days. And then talking to too many people who aren't a good fit. What is very many people not a good fit, they're just too hesitant, right? Like even a financial objection is just fear-based. If I said to you, there's a Ferrari outside for 100 grand, I'll give it to you for 20 grand if you get me the money within an hour. Chances of you coming up 20 grand are very, very likely, because you know the thing that you're buying worth more than 20 grand. What you need to be thinking is, like, how can I position myself so that people feel like they're getting a steal? And the way you do that is removing all doubt and fear. So you answer their questions, you show a ton of proof and results, which you have, you just need to show more of, and you show them what the process is going to look like so they have no doubts around what work review looks like. Okay. And you answer all of their questions / doubts / limiting beliefs in your content. So write down all of the things that you think are holding people back from ever paying you. It might be they don't know whether YouTube can work for them, it might be they don't know about equipment / setup, they don't know if they have the time. Weave those client behaviors into bottom funnel content. Start answering the questions, limit beliefs and objections in the middle of funnel. Show more of what your process looks like. Like me doing this video with you here is a great middle of funnel post video on what does working with Charlie look like. Like this is what my consultant look like. I'm showing people what us working together looks like. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the pre-call process, create a confirmation page with the FAQ and the case study vids, dial in some more pre-call emails. So there's more case studies / objection handlers, and then start sending them a YouTube video before the call that's relevant to their situation. situation. If you stick to this for the next 6 weeks, I don't see why you wouldn't be at 50K a month within 2 to 3 months.
And you know what's like completely fucked is like, I know this is what's missing too. But like, for whatever reason, there's just this resistance to executing, getting it done right now. So that's skill issue on my end. But yeah, laying it out like this, as clear as you have, makes the resistance, I guess, a lot easier. Sometimes when you feel like there's so much on your plate that all just kind of gets blurry and then you end up kind of stuck. But when it's written out very clearly, I think it's easier to attack one thing one by one.
I'll make a suggestion. I imagine a lot of your clients sometimes, or like before they came to you, they never created YouTube content because they didn't know what content to create. They didn't know how to script it out. They didn't know how to film it properly, blah, blah, blah. I'll ask yourself, why am I finding resistance to creating more LinkedIn content and hiring a setter? It's probably just lack of clarity on what content to create.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to force your way through that, spend an hour and a half to 3 hours sitting down and creating a machine that just you can always pick content ideas from. I never ever struggle with LinkedIn content ideas because I have a great system. You haven't got that. So build that out for yourself so there's no resistance behind it. And then it'll be super easy rather than just trying to force your way through it every single time.
Yeah, so true.
Sweet. I'll turn that into an execution roadmap for you so you know what to do over the next like 30 to 60 days. And then if you get any questions, obviously just ping me a message. Sick doing this call with you. Hope you found it useful.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro, for sure.
Cool, man. Sweet.